Hey everybody, Mike McWilliams, Upstairs to the Right Music Channel. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Just a quick reminder, every Sunday at 11 p.m. Central European Time, we have Sunday at Mike's, which is a live stream that we do from this channel, covering a lot of topics, and we would really like it if you took the time to join us. I would love to see you. A lot of fun on those shows. Today we are going to do a discussion about tiny reverbs. Now, one of the big things in my signal chain that I like to have is reverb. I like the sound of Fender amps driven with humbuckers. One of the things that I like about the Fender amps and their emulations is to be able to add that little bit of touch of reverb to it, and it really does make a big difference in the overall color of the sound that I really like. On my pedal board, however, it's getting a little tight real estate. I like to try to keep it as compact as possible. So I started investing in compact reverbs to see first if they sound good, and second of all, with the criteria being that they could fit on the space on my mini pedal board, which is not my medium, my medium pedal board, I guess you would say. And these were the two that I chose. The first one is Tiny Spring. This is made from a company called ToneCity. These have been around for about 5 or 6 years now, I do believe. They are not expensive. This can be had for about $50 US. And it has developed a reputation of being not really a good emulation of a spring reverb, which is what I'm looking for. That's the best combination with a Fender, is a spring reverb, Fender amp. But it does something interesting to it, so we'll take a listen to that today. The other one is the Mooer Shimverb. Now, this one is famous for its shimmer setting that it has. It has 3 settings: room, spring, and shimmer. The shimmer does octaves and fifths, so it imparts this really odd sound, and I'm not a big fan of it. However, the spring section in this little tiny pedal is actually pretty fantastic. I've had this for a while. This has also been out for about the same amount of time as this one. So really it's going to be a contest of whether this one is better in my mind than the one that I'm already using, which is the Mooer Shimverb. Now, what we're going to do is we'll run it through the effects loop of the Laney, and that'll put it between the preamp and the power amp. We'll turn the reverb off on the Laney. The Laney has reverb built into it, but I am going to every now and then compare. It's not a true spring reverb either. And also, it's kind of a Marshall-y amp, so to have reverb on a Marshall amp is always a good interesting thing. As well, I like reverb. It was one of the selling points for me, is the fact that it had a reverb on it. It is a digital reverb. So we'll switch between the 3 of them, between the reverb that comes on the Laney, the Tiny Spring, and the Shimverb, and just the spring reverb settings on these, and we'll have a little listen to these, and tell me which one you like in the comments section. All right, let's go. Let's give you a clean tone here first. And let's start with the Mooer. Let's kick in the spring reverb. The tone actually, and the color and the decayed knobs on this, in my opinion, really don't do a lot. All the action really comes with your level. So we'll set the level to the 9 o'clock position and see how that sounds. So it has a nice tone. I think we're talking about a reverb with some modulation, then there may be a pre-delay. Yeah. Let's put it up to the 12 o'clock position and see how that sounds. Yeah, it had a little bit of depth to it. Let's turn it all the way up and see what we got here. It's an interesting sound. It's mostly reverb. There's not a lot of modulation on this pedal. And pre-delay, a long delay. A pretty long delay on it. It's the reason why I like this pedal, to be honest with you, because it doesn't have a lot of heavy modulation in it. Usually with these pedals, you have a whole lot of reverb, some kind of pre-delay. Yeah, it's got that pre-delay spank to it, and then modulation. The Mooer here, the Reverb with the spring reverb setting, actually sounds pretty good. Sounds good. So I use it really in the 9 o'clock position with the level. Like I said, the decay and the color on this pedal and the spring reverb dip switch position are kind of meaningless. It really comes to the amount of level, which is actually very similar to what's happening with the one knob on the ToneCity. But this is... I just add a little touch of reverb to it. Here's without. With. Just a hint, just a little bit of touch. And like this, it's not really spring reverb actually. It doesn't have that what they call drippiness to it. However, it is a very serviceable reverb. I like it. It has a spring reverbiness to it. Not exactly on the money. If you want to get something like that, then the Boeing pedal, B-O-I-I-N-G, Boeing, I believe JHS puts that out. That's a way to go. But I'll correct myself later if that's incorrect. Right here. It's pretty good. So okay, let's take a listen to now the ToneCity Tiny Spring. Again, this is the Laney without any reverb at all. And the Laney reverb, again, I'll add this in so you can hear how that sounds. It's a nice reverb. It's one of the reasons I like it. It's a digital reverb, but the Laney reverb has a nice tone to it. Alright, let's get rid of the Laney and let's bring in the ToneCity. We'll set it, it's a one knob device, so we're going to go through the 9, the 12, the 3, and then the 6 o'clock position on this. So, so we're talking about a reverb again here, a rather long, really crisp high-end tone to it, pre-delay, and a hint of modulation. It's a pretty tone. Let's try it at 12 o'clock. Modulation in this tone. It's a pretty tone, but it's nowhere in any way, shape, or form a spring reverb tone. But it is pretty. Let's try it at the 3 o'clock position. I'm hearing a lot of modulation, so this is probably going to be... Wow. That's actually, for me, unusable. It's really not. I mean, it's a pretty thing. It's nice. I like it. But it's not a spring reverb sound. Got a lot of modulation. Let's turn it all the way up. It just doesn't even, put it at the 5 o'clock position. That's way too much modulation, too much, a lot of things on that. So let's put it back down where I normally write, like I said, with the shim verb, I write it at the 9 o'clock. Let's put this one back to the 9 o'clock again. In the 9 o'clock position, it's very usable for me. It's a pretty tone. It's a pretty tone. At the 9 o'clock, I think is the most usable spot on this pedal for me. It's a beautiful reverb tone, but it's not a spring reverb, but that's a dry signal. It's nice. Well, to sum it up, between these two pedals, I have to say that the Shimverb actually has a more usable reverb with its level button going from the 9 to the 12 to the 3 to the 5 o'clock position, whereas the tiny spring, which doesn't sound like a spring reverb at all, this is much closer to a spring reverb tone, at the 9 o'clock position is where I find it the most usable, and it's a very unique, interesting reverb sound. The combination of the reverb, pre-delay and modulation make a very interesting reverb, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something, again, that has that Boing pedal, which is the best spring reverb out on the market, but in a mini pedal format. For right now, I think I'm going to be sticking with the spring verb on the Shimverb. Again, like I said, you put this at the 3, the 12, the 9, the 9, the 6, whatever position you want to put this on. It sounds great. It's usable all the way around. But this one is not. But it has an interesting tone to it. If you're not necessarily looking for a spring reverb tone, this is a fantastic, as you heard, sounding reverb. It's got a beautiful chime to it. It's a little high-endy, but you can EQ that out on your amp or on your guitar. Yeah. So I'll be sticking with the Mooer Shimverb for my reverb needs on my pedal board for now. If you know of any other mini pedals out there that are reverb, preferably spring reverb, I'd love to hear about them down in the comments section, and I'll check them out and we'll bring them on the channel, and we'll put it up against these and see how they stack up. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to hit the subscription button. Really, the channel could use your help to grow. If you like today's contents, don't forget to hit the like button. And until the next one, you guys take care. Bye-bye.